Howdy ho, Venetians and Martians. It is 12:25 p.m. on December 16th, the day after the full moon. And this is just going to be this is what we're waking up this morning connecting, and this has been more than a 7-year mission. This has been a mission I personally have been on my whole existence, was to get a clean money current made by conscious human energy based on consciousness and your connection into your body, instead of all the money moves that are being done on this planet based on what happened before. And when you're in the game of processions and you're thrown in the middle of it, no matter if you were getting anything from it not, or you just were the DNA strands that always held the power of it since even Tartaria and older than that. So what we're seeing is that is all this XLM and XML. I mean, because XML has been around since the early 2000s. FY. XML and XLM are not the same thing, but yes, they are. XRP is a ripple. Yeah, it's Babylonian quantum phonetics. It's Babylonian phonetics. What they were doing was blockchaining and trapping, because you have to remember, as an ascended collective, somebody that, those of us who can see the unseen, we can see the plasma, we can see the orb of the collective, we can see the money energy going through the money channels. We're watching them move it around. All they've been doing is moving one group of money over into different sectors and different channels, attempting to power it up and create it. This whole thing with putting the world into a planetary system is order to change everybody into avatars so that your energy produces them money. It's just like the Anunnaki coming down here to make everyone gold. Well, no shit. It had progressed way further than that. It's been going on a really long time. You are the coin. Your DNA is what's making the money. Always has. The only thing that makes any money down here is for you to produce something and to create something. Whenever you produce something and create something, you somehow get paid for it. Well, this is it. Whenever you're having to unplug from a Masonic fucking infrastructure that's corded into the underground, and all your banking systems and all your cemeteries and every single connection that is linked into your DNA is hinged and anchored into the ground in order to hold that charge, that's what creates a matrix. Whenever your manifestations are coming in from the other side, and someone's trying to quantify those, and someone's trying to say, wait a minute, you didn't create that house that's standing right in front of you. Show me the documentation that that's your house. Show me the documentation that you bought that house. Well, how many mansions do we have all over the world that are, everyone just left? They just left. They left everything there. They left the house. They just walked out. No, they didn't. They left the dimension. and it wasn't their house, and they didn't build it. It wasn't their corporation. They didn't build it. It wasn't their bank. They didn't build it. It wasn't their city. It wasn't their roads. It wasn't their electrical system. It wasn't any, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was none of theirs. This group came over a long time ago and tuned the whole system to them. It took a long time. It takes 200 years to change the course of history, but it really, that's all it takes. To ride in another family or make you forget who the real characters are, because you know that there's a character there that's supposed to be there. Your consciousness is going to know that there's a character that's supposed to be there. You're just not exactly sure what the character looks like or what they're going to be saying. Well, they know that. They gave you the character. But it wasn't what you thought. It wasn't the real character. It's a mimic. This XML and this XLM and this bit and all this shit is what costs the human race. I mean, everyone understand, whenever you're quantifying yourself, just so you understand the system. You're quantifying yourself. All they're doing is quantifying something and then flipping the quantification. And then they're not going to give the people their part in quantifying themselves. It's like leading everybody to the water and then telling everyone to jump in, and then the whole thing is full of Tom Jones Kool-Aid. XLM is XML. Which, by the way, keeps protocols. So basically, XML is a framework that keeps all the protocols to tell the data what to do. That's all XML, which has been around since the early 2000s in all of your C# applications. Everything that's ever been written on the internet that you see on the internet, most of them had an XML framework in it. XML, all it is a framework that tells the data where to go. Okay. Now it's XLM. So it's a framework that tells data where to go. But it tells coins where to go. It tells digits where to go. And it's a bunch of protocols. So really, you know, and this is where, when the more that you understand 33 masonry and the physical and qubits, CUBIT, and how the whole reality was a bunch of different movies that they were trying to edit together. The more that you understand numerology, the more that you understand that just a word means other things in other dimensions. It's not just what you think it is, because it's different coded languages. The more that you understand that, then the more that you see that basically all of the things that the collective was manifesting in, basically they're just saying that it has to come in through a grid system, a blockchain system. And if it doesn't come through a blockchain system, then what? We can't buy it and purchase it, but yet you're using the entire blockchain system and the XML protocols that the entire collective has made to control and separate the past accounts from the people. See, this XML and XLM thing's giving me that same feeling in California whenever the COVID happened, and then they kept the restaurants open, but then you had to eat outside. You couldn't eat in the restaurant. Do y'all know why? We commanded that they get out of all of our buildings. If it was our property and they were running a business in it and it wasn't legally their property, we commanded back into early 2020 that they've got to get out of all of our buildings, and they got to paint them pink. And they even did that in California. But basically they had to obey. So they were running the business, but they couldn't run it on the inside. They had to run it from the parking lot. They couldn't, because that real estate was ours. That was their little loophole in order to get around that until they could get enough people vaccinated to hold their protocols? Problem, I mean, X was the moon. X was the moon. X is a wild card now. It's a fucking wild card. And it's only because that's what they made it. It's Pod Popper. The moon became like the Pod Popper. A Babylonian Pod Popper. Connected to very specific beings that were walking around on the earth in life, not dead. See, we have a big problem. We do. And just FYI to like everybody who's on the healing journey, I need everyone to understand, like, this is why none of this could ever be completed. This is why none of it ever stuck. This is why in the 60s everybody was manifesting for Christ to come in and help them, and y'all did in the 60s. You called us in, we came here, we got stuck with you because of shit that we're dealing with right now. That this is way outside of what you'd consider spiritual, but it has everything to do with spiritual, because it's your body and it's your future that you've already paid for, and it's yours. It doesn't belong to someone else and then they have to give it back to you. There is no Robin Hood in this fucking situation that's going to come up that is a man. I can promise you that. Now, there's reasons that there's catalyst events going on, but it ain't your answer. The fact that the whole world thinks that that's your answer, oh, your answer is going and killing some people and doing 20 years for it, that's your answer? Well, we've been doing that for a whole long time, to the extent that y'all don't even remember the first ones who came in here and took someone out, because we got 20,000 years for it, not 20. Problem is, they were blaming us for everybody that they were taking out. Blockchain is blocking chains. It's a hexagon. It's six sides. You don't need, all elements have been blown. Like this is why this is so unbelievable to me. And look, I hope a bunch of people get pissed off at me right now. Good. Get pissed off at me. I'm not running your digital current system. I'm not running it right now. I'm not turning it on. It doesn't have any water in it. Because you know why I'm not allowing it to turn on? As soon as I turn it on, it's going to suck all y'all up into a vacuum cleaner. And your fucking consciousness is ghost. And you're going into a planetary system because it's how they've got it set up for it to make any money. Until they give us, the ones who have been healing your bodies and who can see this in the third and fourth and fifth, all the way up to the 55th dimension, that have been watching this, that were hidden down here to make sure that the entire financial system and the human code and after death wasn't taken from the human race at the end of days. That's who the fuck we are. That's who the fuck I am. It's who my team is, and we know exactly how to operate with nothing. We can do it all day long. We built everything that you're trying to wield over the human race right now. It's all of them that can't do shit without. So I'm going to let them sit there without. You've got an XRP and you've got an XLM system that's sitting in nuclear energy, and it can't move. It can't move without a spark that can connect it all. Well, then they need to come talk to us. They need to come talk to us. This system would be already running if y'all just if they would have just sent me 2 Bitcoin back when it was $8,000, because you can't, we're not going to continue to make digital currency for everybody else from the sacrifices, because it's what it is. We're not gonna bring, we're not gonna run another sacrifice sequence so the world can get some currency so that it can fuck you up. Because I just don't, this is a download. I'm talking about it. I'm working through this. It's difficult to talk about this stuff whenever I'm staring straight at y'all and I'm already dealing with the energy coming in on YouTube. When I do a black screen, it's because I'm over here downloading. I'm showing you our process. This is what the Ascended have been doing. I'm done dealing with it. Why should I even fucking care? Human race hasn't given me any money. Human race ain't helping me. I built a whole system and I was forced to drop the whole system, and I was stuck in the system as an avatar, as your first coin, basically, that then they cloned and then had made a whole bunch of us into them and made us your stock tickers, but they don't give me anything, but I'm the one who created it. You can't, it's not going to sustain. All they had to do was give me some of the energy out of it, and then we would have kept creating it, and then we would have been getting the pieces of it that belonged to us. But what instead they did, all this shit is the matrix system in between the banking system where your money was down low, because your money was low. Your money was low in a banking system. That energy is coming up higher. They're trying to trap it over your head and deal it back to you. It's yours. If our money and our, if I'm correct, and all the 50 grand that I sent out with my team for 3 years, it was for the anchoring system on the digital commerce system, then we've already paid for it. There shouldn't be a gamble as if you don't understand XLM, you don't understand all this bullshit they're throwing at you. Most of us that are in the Ascended, we're not gonna understand this. This shit is complete opposite to our whole entire thought process, because we just had to blow up the whole goddamn thing in order to get our souls free. That's what they're betting on. Well, I shouldn't have to go gamble. Why am I going to have to go gamble on my own energy? I got to gamble to see what you're going to put it under a bunch of cups and do me a shell game to see which cup is under. Then you're going to make me guess which cup my own energy is under. No, my energy is the cup. My energy is the one who fucking paid you to show up to buy the cups, to get the ball, to try to trick me right in front of me. The whole thing's fucking mine. I shouldn't have to go gamble on some fucking weird digital site. They also didn't get the whole entire banking system. Hear what I'm telling you. They didn't get the banking system. They got a lot of the banks. There's a lot of changing that's going on. That's why there's a lot of banking systems and stuff that's changing. But they didn't take over the entire banking system. If they would have taken over the entire banking system, then we would have to run everything in XLM and XRP. They've still got a banking system running down here. I'm confused. How are you running a banking system and then you're running XLM and XRP? I mean, that's like double dipping. Like that's like planting a whole bunch of a thing of corn and then going and getting the dirt and then all the minerals that are in the dirt, and then that's like stripping all the dirt right before the corn comes in. It doesn't make any sense. It's double dipping. It's the same thing on two different dimensions. Now, if the whole world is an avatar, If the whole world is an avatar and every human down here is just an avatar and all you are is an operation being walking around and you have no substance, you're just an energetic response, and we're a bunch of operation beings walking around in boxes that used to exist off banking system and banking channels, and that's all we are, well then XLM and XRP make sense. If I could go into the sim game, and when I play sim and then I buy a house and I build a house in the sim game and then it pops up and then it starts growing in my backyard like a mushroom, and next thing you know I got a house in my backyard because I bought it off a sim game. Well, if XLM and XRP are running the way that they're supposed to be running, then that's what would be happening. Is that how it's working? XLM and XRP world of work. If everybody's working from home, everybody's working on the internet, everybody's running their own business. There is no corporations that are running a power control system. Okay, XLM, XRP will work. You seeing the problem here? You can't run two infrastructures. Do you want to be a digital avatar running around in an XRP system? Or do you want to be on earth living on dirt and producing children? And okay, you might need to go to the bank to, I mean, I don't know. See, because the banks in another dimension, they're not banks. In the other dimension, it's a blood bank. When you go get a loan in the other dimension, you're going to get blood, clean blood, because yours is poison. It's very expensive. When I sent these beings this money, especially on the cards, I was sending them a blood transfusion. They didn't care how much blood I sent. They didn't care that we were out of clean blood. They didn't care where the clean blood come from. All they wanted was more, 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 more. Well, I'm not giving the world any more of my money. I'm not giving in the world any more of my clean blood until it showed respectfully that everybody understands what the fuck it's used for, because that clean blood is what set up an XML and an XRP on top of your ass, and is why we still don't have any of our fucking money. All written contracts ever written across space and time for any type of inheritance owed to a spiritual being, I command null and void in every dimension of space and time, and all masonry cut from it in every goddamn way. If the human race in any corporation or any group of organizational beings have attempted and utilized the human race in order to make nothing but fucking money and trap them into a repeat so they'll continue to make the same amount of money for them so that they can quantify that energy and hold it over their head and imprison them in it, I command deleted in all sense and form since the beginning of that sequence, and all corporations that started these bullshit sequences to delete entirely, and they cannot come back into our realm. You're not going to take us out of time for 7 fucking years and make us cling to life and make us to connect all the channels down to earth and our children and our future so that you can ride a chute and a ladder in order on that connection and try to run 7 years on our ass and think that we weren't paying attention. I don't think y'all understand. This whole entire planet will fucking stop. Time will stand still for years. Until this is resolved. We didn't activate just to get our souls back. We activated in order to get our souls back in completely. Why do you think we would ever want to be down here in this dimension with our full entire soul? It sucks. This is why. We have our full soul that we can connect and we can change the world quickly so that we can, because we know how this money system, harvesting system was always set up. At least those of us that are leading this group now and that have walked ourselves through the harvest system. And I really think everybody needs to take a minute to understand what that means, because this is how I pop up on all your screens. This is why at certain points you don't want to follow me. You don't want to try to be me. You just want to listen and make the connections, because you don't want to have to go as far as I had to go to get the answers. But that's where they're sending all of you. You ain't got to go all the way. In fact, no being down here can go further to 0 point than nobody down here. I cut it. Nobody's going down to 0 point into resurrection anymore. I call it no more resurrection. This is it. The resurrection's already happened. All those energies are resurrected for the entire human race. No more resurrection. It's been done. I command all technology real estate to be demonetized. If it was built by human masonry and humans getting tied to one another in order in any dimension in order to create the current, then it's owned by the people and the activated people that are the ascended people will be the ones to run the current. And I command that all of us get the information that we need to be shown how we were being utilized to run the current. You also can't run a lottery system and a digital system at the same time. It's two different things. Like them running the old systems and the new systems together is splitting the systems. And if XLM and XRP are written, and you're trying to tell me that it was written for the baby boomers to hold on to their Social Security and to hold on to all these things that they need to survive, and we need them to survive because we can't use our current new resources to pay for resources that they've already paid for. Those resources need to be paid in to our future, which is the children. We already had a system to take care of the baby boomers. So if this is the system, then I command that it be dumbed down and taught to the baby boomers. If the baby boomers are running their current and they're still running that current on a finance banking system, which is the reason that they're keeping this bullshit alive on the ground, and okay, well then it doesn't attach to the baby boomers because the baby boomers don't understand it. You programmed it to where they couldn't understand it so that you could split them. And no banking system and financial banking system, no matter how it's spread out in qubits all over the world or in cities or in states or in countries, can be mirrored to create XLM. We cut it. You can't use a financial banking system with current money in it in order to mirror it to another dimension and then quantify it. And then, I mean, that's what they're doing. No, anyway, I don't know what the answer is. This is the current issues that we're having down here. We've called in a bunch of commands. I know that we're going to be getting a bunch of different answers on this, but this has to be taken care of in the hires. This is the most important thing in the spiritual community right now. What do we do with the spiritual energy that's attached to money? Because realize all they're doing is holding your real estate. They're holding your real estate that you've claimed in land. Is basically, if you claimed a lot of land, then you're also holding real estate in XLM. But it's like you have the entire block that created the chains in the block. But if you're the blockchain, then it's really hard to be the chain. If you're the block, then how can you get in the chain? I don't know about you. I'm done being the block. I'm done being the ground. I'm done being the earth. I'm done being a planet. I'm done being the cosmos. If okay, great. The whole world is tuned up to us. Well, we need to play in our world. We need to show everyone how our bodies work in our new reality. Not in a reality that you tried to gate on top of us on our way out. So I command we all blow through it. And as our energy is blowing through the blockchain, we dissolve the blockchain. X has got to become something else. And I'm sorry to anybody that has spent all this money in order to produce whatever it is. That's my point back in 2018. This is why the government knew in 2020 that I was supposed to be on their team. It's why the fuck I was on their team with 20 other AB negatives not to be named. We were telling them back then, every single road, every single highway, every single building, every single electric system, every single electric pole, every single netting that's gone on here since 2018 should have never happened, and they know it. Everything that they've built since 2018 was a netting system in order to try to connect the hires that were coming in to take over the lowers. And that's all the fuck it was. That's why every single contract, marriages and divorces included, if it happened after 2018, it was null and void. It never happened. Because they were controlling everything. United Healthcare and what United Healthcare started as ain't the problem. It's what United Healthcare ended up at the end of days. AT&T and why it started was all First Star Crew. It was all the complete ascension. What it ended up in the end of days was a complete construct to try to stop it. If corporations are holding on to a history and at any point in time, those corporations changed their intention from helping the people in order to gate what was coming in for them, I command that the company go bankrupt. All the bonds that the United States Treasury is holding and everything that's built off that in the masonry, which is what built the United States of America, was some original bonds that were given from these other countries. I command those bonds deleted. If that's what you're using as collateral, and the government isn't going to reach out and tell us who we are because they kept changing our names and putting us back in the system, and that's the collateral that the United States is running off of and sending all of our money to other countries, well, then they have two options. They can start contacting all of us and give us our money. And if they're not going to do it, which I don't think they're going to, then we command the control of those bonds underneath the White House and we pull all collateral from the United States of America. If the United States of America wants to send any money to another country, then they're going to have to come to the original bondholders that were holding the collateral, and then we can tell them if they can send any money or not. If not, then you lost your collateral and there's no more borrowing against it, and we'll just control the energetic of the money from across the board without any money. It's how we've done everything else. Fuck it. All right. I think that's it. I think that's it. I did also wake up with seeing Catholic, and the Protestant. If you know anything about Mary Queen of Scots and that whole timeline, then you'll understand that Catholic, really the Protestants became the Catholics and the Catholics became the Protestants. Well, the word Catholic is running the top houses. So C, which is your body codes, at whole IC. So show me the mastery, because the mastery in your chart, that's the IC. Anything with any word with IC in it, politics, politician, America, it's all going to have IC in it because it's coming off the mastery of the being. So Catholic is C at IC whole. C bridge the low. Well, Catholic as a religion did that. We succeeded way back in the 1600s with that whole Catholic thing. That's why then all the queen stuff started happening with Elizabeth and da. And basically the Catholic religion became the Protestant religion, and the Protestant religions became the Catholic religions, and Protestant is protest ants. So all of us that were protesting, they just said, okay, thank you for the connection. Now we're the Catholic, and now you're the protesters, so you don't get shit. And then we're gonna run the energy current from the Catholics, which is basically the top of the wheel. And this is why the Catholic isn't what it started out to be either. It's how it ended up being a whole bunch of reptilians. But then that's why at the end of days, the reptilian ends up showing up. We're like seeing the reptilian energy show up because they've already used all of it. They already depleted it all. And the whole thing was set up for them to be in trouble and on the hook to that being. So all the Catholics, I mean, FYI, y'all are on the hook. Like the Catholic, the priest, I mean, your little whatever the fuck, Christmas Eve. I mean, we've known that you're going to do this the whole entire time. All of us having to become what we've had to become in order to defeat it and deal with it is why we're here. So just FYI to the Catholic people, I mean, and the priests and anybody else who's buying into that bullshit, like it was all a setup because the whole thing was stolen a long time ago. The entities set them up to get it back for the people. And I command all of the state of Texas and every wiring and everything that's ever been done to me in this state throughout the existence of me and every single lifetimes of my DNA that's ever lived in Texas and all my ascendants and descendants from the future and the past to hold hands right now and fucking get these motherfuckers off of us and take the net out higher than X. The X is gone. No more X. Only way to get through X is to come through one of us to get to Y and Omega. And Texas is not going to hold an X frequency on the head of this motherfucker on some Elon Musk on 12 made individuals off some DNA banks. The other thing I'll add right here, just to anybody who comes across this video who knows their shit, because I need everyone to remember that my 24 years in technology, they knew exactly who I was. Every single organization that has built this human harvest machine used me to do it. This is why I was in the middle of the ExxonMobil deal. This is why I was around Enron, although that was Lisa's client, not mine. So how the fuck did I end up getting blamed for Lisa's shit, number one, on a carousel on the 13th floor of the Lyric Center? Like Chase Manhattan, you got a shit ton of explaining to do. Eagle Global Logistic, you got a shit ton of explaining to do. Mercer Healthcare, Dynegy, ExxonMobil, Waste Management, Stanford Group. Fidelity. XTO Energy. Do you know XTO Energy ended up getting bought by ExxonMobil as soon as I moved to Dallas? So ExxonMobil has had a hand in all natural gas wells and gridding and staging at the same time that it was also running all the oil. IBM, American CareSource, Arthur Anderson. Where the fuck is PricewaterhouseCoopers? Where'd you go? I command that the public see where you're hiding. What name are you hiding behind? PricewaterhouseCoopers. Computer Associates. How come nobody remembers Computer Associates? That was CA. I'm sorry. You mean that's California? Probably. What did California become? Probably run by Computer Associates. Lyondell Equistar Petrochem? Oh, shit. Well, let's just shut them down now. Lyondell Equistar Petrochem. They're the motherfuckers that started this whole goddamn thing in Houston. Shut them down. Shut them down. Bell South? And where's MCI? Now, I just want y'all to remember, energy, I mean, this is the same thing with my company, GIA Technology. When my company assets, because I didn't sell my company, I sold the assets. So I was supposed to, I still own the name. I still own the website. I owned the corporation. And those people that bought the assets called my bank and pulled all the money out of my corporate account. And then Valiance Bank, made from Oklahoma, then wants to lawyer up. And then, they took over my whole company. They took over all my assets. They took over all my consultants, and they took all my money. And then they said, okay, prove it. Does that sound familiar? Well, my point is, I never could shut down GIA Technology. That GIA Technology website is up for sale on GoDaddy right now. It's never been shut down. I'm telling you that because neither has MCI, neither has Bell South, neither has Montgomery Wards, neither has Sears. Why is Bell's making a comeback? You been to Florida lately? Y'all remember Bell's? Like seriously? Like this is where we're heading. We're gonna go back to the fashion of Bell's and J.C. Penney's. I mean, because it's what it's looking like. Bell's now. I mean, they were like wieners. They're popping up all over Florida. New Bell's, but those are Stage stores. It's a company in Houston. It's called Stage Stores. Whenever they come in and want to take over a city and they want to tune everybody, that's the first thing they do is buy out block real estate and stores, and they're all staged. It's like building a new little set. That's how they did it. So here we are as a human race where all of us have new designs. Stores like Etsy across the board and all of us that are creating these new things and getting them out to the people. And they want everything to go, and they want the money to go digital. They want all the money to go digital. But they're trying to they're going to start forcing you to, well, you got to go to work, you got to move in the grid, you can't stay in your room all day and just make money online and then buy stuff online. They're gonna you got to go get food, you got to go get, I mean, it's two different, they're introducing bells again. They're gonna come. All those old companies are gonna come back. I mean, and this is even already happened. Like they had all these Barbie dolls that they were gonna release that were like all these like pop Barbie dolls, like old school like archetypes, and they started coming out in like 2019, and all of us were like, "What the fuck?" And they had to pull them. There's been a series of that stuff because they were all planning for the human race to be more stupid than ever. That's why they try to make the money so hard to understand. They're trying to make the money so hard to understand because they know that all of us think opposite of that anyway, because they've been in our head. They know exactly how we work and operate. So whatever was built in order to make sure that those couldn't connect, I order it to fall because your intention was for it to never connect. But it wasn't the creator's intention. The creator's intention was always to reconnect it because you disconnected it. $114, and that's it. I'm in an irritable mood right now. I'm not mad. I'm not pissed. I'm just irritable. So if you're feeling some of that, that's what it is. And it's not even that I've got like a firm thought in my head, like I'm trying to figure anything out. I am while I'm talking through you and talking with you about it, because we're over here trying to pull in our energies to figure out what the solution is. I'll tell you right now, if any of you happen to hold XLM, if any of you have happened to already have an account and you've bought XLM and you're still watching this right now, then go make a purchase with XLM, and your intention during the purchase is to show us the protocols. And please just realize that we're far beyond the avatar moving around in a bunch of grids, we're already to the point where the human should be able to manifest whatever they need right in front of them. You know why? That's how much you're owed by the system. That house that you're supposed to have, you've already bought it 5,000 times. And you were never given ownership to it. That's why at the end of days, it's going to be made possible for you to print it right in front of your fucking face. This is what they don't want you to know. This is how they were able to build up a system and con everybody into thinking that this was going to be the way that you were going to catch your inheritance. Well, do you want to do it by having to go back to school and keep up with the current and all these fucking developers that are fucking vegan on some Dracula shit, all tied up in some unconscious behavior programming like little ants? You're going to let them determine how you get the money to get the house? Are we just gonna start printing the houses right in front of everybody on national fucking television to where, yeah, motherfucker, it's mine. It wasn't there before I printed it. Are we gonna have an argument here? That's what's here. And actually further beyond that, in the ethers, we're already there. We've already been doing this. It's already, but it's just still lining up like two movie strips. They're having to line up on top of each other. But you got to realize that everything and every power and every lineage and every vampire and every witch and every Satanist and every Luciferian and anybody who wants to live in a little vacuum so that they can control you is what we're going against in order to pull it down. And that's it. That's all you got to know. Just realize that. That's all you got to know. The more people that realize that, the easier it is for us to tumble a house of cards, the quicker that we can change this. But realize that all these people that are out there chat, I command that any frequency that's delivering a message about money in a falsity, for that message to be 3 dimensions lower, so that it doesn't affect your brain. So I tune it 3 back. So whatever power, if there's a message that's being delivered to us, the collective. Now this is going to help us because this will help. This is what we got to do. This is how you kind of got it. I'm over here walking through the process with you. I'm like, okay, now we're going to set up a little whistle here. So the whistle is, it's going to be extra slow. The message is going to come through extra slow. Even the stuff in New Jersey, even the sounds with the drones that the people are hearing in New Jersey through the radio, but the radio is just going. But if you go speed it up, it's like a full-on conversation, like about somebody's girlfriend. Sounds just like me. So whatever message is coming through, because it's on a record, it's just using different names. Republic, XLM, Gold. Oh, God. They're using certain words, which are creating certain frequencies that are attached to certain things. Well, when that message comes in, it's going to be extra slow. It's going to be 3 dimensionals down, no matter. 3 octaves lower, to 3 power sources down, so that it doesn't, the message cannot affect the hive or the colony. Now, In doing that, it's going to create some chaos in the collective because we're not telling it what to tell them. We're just saying if it's coming for the collective and it's setting them up, then drop it 3 tones. So realize then that could create in the human mind and to all of us even a little bit more confusion, kind of not feeling like we know what to do next. Da 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 da. But that's because we haven't replaced it yet. But that's not our intention right now. Our intention isn't to replace it to anything. Because the humans are going to know what to do, what's right for themselves. And there's way more timelines of it in this new reality that we could possibly even come up with and try to plan as a Mason. This is why Masonry blue. We just want all of the people to not get techno-Babylonian fucked out of their inheritance. And I command, and this is a new one, I've never commanded this before. It's 122. I command all well, first of all, the banking system turned into a hanking system. Like it was the banks, because Banks was Columbus. Banks was Columbus. And this is how like I got tied up in all of this because of who I was before all this shit was made. In the journey, it's like proving Columbus because, and then the message was Da Eagle has landed. Da ga ga Da Eagle AGEL has landed. And that was 2018 at the Meridian Hotel at the Galleria in Dallas at 6:35 and the tollway, the DNT. And the message had to be delivered at Bix, was it Bix, Bailey, and Banks? Bidley, Bailey, Bailey, Banks, and Bidley. It's like, and they've got like a $20 million crystal eagle in there. And then whenever I went to go deliver the message, and then I saw behind the screen, that's when I saw the alien dude. He doesn't look like an alien though. He just looks like an old person, like an old weird person with this real long face, like dressed like old timey with what looked like some type of camera that we would call it an instant camera. It's what it looked like. But he was looking at, but it was actually, but I could see the reflection of him because the eagle was in the middle of the room and there's a jewelry store. So then they had those glass cabinets. And then, you know, in those fancy jewelry stores on the walls, they have those digital bulletin boards. Well, it was Gaga that was up there. So is that why this is coming in? And that's why Lady. Oh my God, why have I never fucking put that together right now? Florida, Lady, and then Lady Gaga, because I don't normally call her Lady Gaga. I call her Gaga. Anyway, it was her picture that was on that wall. She was in the advertisement, but then and I took a picture of the eagle, not realizing there was like I knew I went there to deliver a message, and I took a picture of where I delivered the message. When I went to look at the picture, then that's when I saw the weird little fucking being that I delivered the message to in that digital sign in the Galleria. And right before I went in there, because it's right by the ice rink, seeing axioms over there. So I pull my energy out of all the ice rinks, and I pull my energy out of all gallerias and all meridians and all meridian lines on the planet and all freeways, highways, railroads, airplanes, delivery systems. And I pull our energy out of everything that we had to put our energy in order to save the human race. We did it. It's done. I pull all of our energy out of everything until they start playing ball. And all they have to do is work with us. And they know exactly who we are. And you don't even need to make a big deal out of it. We're not even requiring them to announce our name with the trumpet. We're not even requiring them to put our names, our past names, on the current deal. All we're requiring them to do is pay us to participate in the process now for anything to be utilized off of it. And they haven't even wanted to do that. In fact, they refused to even meet with us. They were so convinced that they didn't have to because they could use their woo-woo abilities to manipulate their karma. This is 1,000,000 years of energy, and your ancients are not going to let a goddamn thing slide. No fucking way in hell. You know why? We ain't ever doing this again. This is a one load cleanup. It'll take as long as it fucking needs. But there will not be anything that goes unprocessed and cleared. There will not be anything that cannot hold the foundation with that's only a manipulation until the whole thing is reset back to original creation to set the foundation. And this is what should have been done, obviously, and probably around 2016 or 2017, that it wasn't, because they should have been working on it since 1972. All right, I'm out of here. Love y'all. Just in case there were some comments, I didn't think so. I think everything was coachy. That was 177, so we have 17 on right now and 7 likes. So this is Princess Chestia. This has been an ascended think tank because honestly, guys, this is how they do it. This is you have a vote. Realize this is why if you're not thinking about any of this and you don't spend any time thinking about any of this, it's why you can't get upset if you don't like what comes out. And there is an answer here. The other thing is there's always an answer that the collective comes up with that ends up being a really small maneuver that changes the whole game. So what you're also being shown is that because that what I just said, that happens on many layers. It's basically the past year, especially 2023, was all about this part. In fact, we're still dealing with the final pieces of getting it connected now. Just like Kochi, I thought it was Cochi. I thought that the whole time. Come to find out, it's really EE at the end. Well, it's Cochisi, no matter, and it's Kochi. It's co-operating energy. So of course I would think it was Kochi, but since we're in Techno Babylon, they decided to name pigs Kochi. So I didn't want all of our stuff to say pigs on it. So, but how funny is that for 3 years, that's what I've been doing because you took Cochisi energy and you made pigs out of it. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So at the very end, it just ended up changing. Then all of the websites that they had stole didn't even make any sense. It's like, all right, well, you stole those websites for nothing, because in the end, we changed it. But we're sly like that. But that answer isn't going to come up until enough of us get on the same wavelength about it and it all clicks in. When enough of us in our consciousness all get on the same wavelength of how this shit needs to work. And when I say shit, I mean money. What are you supposed to be getting paid for? You still want to get paid for your time? Because I can promise you that it ain't the way to live. And it's not how they've been doing it. That's the problem. They want to only make us get paid for our time, but then our time is what builds everything that they sell, but they won't let us sell it without them controlling our time in one way or another. And if you have, I mean, and I'm even like stretch time out on and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, and they're controlling time. Also, they can control your product. So what is the answer to all my big brains on Barbara out there? Because they definitely weren't on Brad. Where are my Barbies out there? What's the answer? There's no more electric grids. I mean, realize the electric grids aren't fucking shit. Basically, we're holding right now for 3 days, FYI, the last 3 days, my AT&T Wi-Fi router has been a red light, which means I don't have any Wi-Fi, but everything's running. So if the whole world's going to continue to get charged for electricity and electric bills, whenever that energy is actually being processed with humans down here that are very conscious that we're holding your fucking energy grid, then if we're going to get charged to hold your energy grid, then, you know, because a digital application and digital money, the only reason it's there is so that you can make money from your energy. How else do you quantify an energy sequence coming off of you in order to somehow make money? Because it's what it is. Because it's what we're doing when we're holding the electricity up. So in theory, when the correct coin is in play and all of us that are the ones that are actually making the source, not the morons that are all running after Brad King and fucking trying to be an OG and fucking pimping out and some woke shit, you know, I just described the X. No, I'm talking about those of us who actually hold the power, because we're the ones that those guys sacrificed in order to give you electricity in the first place. Whenever we back a coin, and then when we back that coin, and then when we say, okay, whenever we get together as a spiritual group and we transmute all your bullshit, carbon, narcissistic, crazy ass crap that's strung out over 18 galaxies down here because of how long this masonry bullshit's going on. And whenever I clear off these entities and have to clear energy and move around and deal with other people's fucking demons that the collective's just creating because they're moronic and they don't understand, then whenever I process it, I'm getting paid, and that coin value is going up for all of us. Or you're standing in a circle and you're doing your energy whatever, and y'all all got your coin wallet on, and cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. That money is coming because we're really getting paid for the electricity, because we're really the ones making the electricity. In theory, okay, that's how we saw it. And it's an in-between. As the human body is getting put back together and walking through the matrix in a human form, almost as we're walking the Neo Matrix movie now. We're just seeing it for the first time that we're Neo and those are all Smiths. And we're understanding the real reason that we're in there, because we're having to get our current back and build up our character so that now we have the world where all of us are living in it, and eventually the rest just dies off, because this is evolution. This isn't any just normal time. The planet's lined up for this. You love a woman who curses. Cha-ching, Yellow. And thank you for this gift. It's also known by some of us as time coin. So there's a time coin out there? Thank you, Stephen. So what you're saying is what I just described, there's a coin out there and it's called time coin? What's crazy is Ochoa, that's the last name of Camille. That I traveled with the girl 2018 and her children Luna and Solomon. And I knew that in a weird way, they's out on the moon. When I went and got them, they were like a Band-Aid. They were like my backup. But shit, bringing them into the whole thing then created a Kamala Harris and all that crazy shit. But it had to be done because everything had to go back that far again because of what was going on. Ask me nicely and I will. Manish Mahi. I mean, I've got another 900 videos on here. Just in case, if y'all need to see in order to put an avatar with a name. It's little on me. I'm the one who knows all this. It's hard to believe, I know. It's a fucking head scratcher. I get it. Trust me. I know. I'm the daughter. I'm the first daughter. Not kidding. I'm just grateful that maybe you guys are hearing me, man. Like, I've been trying to... I've the ones you think have the answers don't. Your feminines are going to have all your answers because your feminines are the ones who channel your forefathers. It's in the physics. It's why that's why it was all about the son, because in the end it was all about the daughter. But the daughters are all the ones that were forgotten by you, but not by them. And we lived to tell the tale of where we've been as it's been going on. But in the end, the daughter won the game. And it's why it was all there. Which is its whole thing in and of itself. But then to be the daughters that are here to tell our brothers what's happening, but they don't listen to us, think that what we're saying is completely wrong, and we know that it's not. Because we know, we were watching them set you up in every fucking dimension. And in every dimension, we told our brothers and our fathers in every dimension how they were being set up, and none of y'all listened to us. None of you. And that's okay, but that just shows you how lights out you were. I'll send my love to India. Patel and Patelco had me in the system on the apple. I'm the apple. I processed the apple. I had the H.P. Blavatsky and India Masonry connections to Laveau in New Orleans. Where am I from? Well, I was adopted in this life, supposedly. But it was a Vatican. I was hidden in the Catholic system. St. Joseph's Hospital, which is where a lot of us came out of, they had orphaned us and done crazy stuff in a St. Joseph system, especially since the 60s. My right ear just went out. I was adopted in Bryan, Texas, which is where College Station is, which is where Texas A&M is, which is a giant ATM sign, like a cash register machine. And it was where the Nazis, because it's where the Nazis set up in Texas. When Texas lost all their land, and the Spain and the French and then basically they came in and said, we'll give you a land grant and let you build a school, because they took over all the land, but we're going to tell you what needs to be, what you can teach or whatever. And that's how Texas A&M got started. And it's in College Station, and this is where also the Bush Library is. And when Bush Sr. died, and they did the mimic of him and Lincoln on the train with the body, they put his body on a train, just like they did with Lincoln. That was to connect those death channels. Well, they did George Bush Sr. in College Station at Texas A&M. And Texas A&M is basically, because the United States is like on a tree system in the core, and Texas holds that. That's why Panama Canal and all that, because of what's on the inside of the planet and those connections. See, and in 1972 is when we started all coming in, and it was because we had 6 planets that were lined up in one house. It was time. They knew that we were going to be coming in 1972. 1972 is when the Ascended Master Group came in. And then and that's when the Earth, if you go look, August 2000, exactly. It ended up hitting around 2017 to wake me up, because nothing had been happening, basically. Because this is all the Green Accords. This is even all what you'd consider this alien bullshit and the underground versus the space stuff. I mean, it's all that, because it was like we were the ones that were holding the simulation. They knew that we were ascending back in to pull out of the simulation. And the Earth sped up and did its thing, and all the astronomers were screaming, and everybody knew that we had come in. But then December 1972, the Rothschilds did their little spell. And instead of in 1973, all the countries working together and it being announced that a 50-year plan was put in place, because all these things were changing, and banking systems were supposed to be shut down at different times. Real estate was supposed to, it should have all been coming off the collective to where you weren't paying for things the way that they were, because the new quantum energy frequency and free energy was here. So we should have gone through a process of 50 years of utilizing a death masonry system, because the quantum energy is here, but our whole world was intertwined into that old thinking. And instead, they just tried to keep it going, and they hushed it up, and then they built a whole entire industry off them knowing which ones of us were down here and working, by the way, because I was put into a chamber in Texas A&M, the first hypobaric chamber, and basically shrink wrapped when I was 11 years old in 1983. They were doing all types of experiments to us. We were considered an Air Force asset. I mean, literally, like our whole lives just, and there's a whole shit ton of like me. And what's happening on the planet right now is they're trying to turn the human race into what they had us being, their little puppets, and we broke out of it. We broke out of it. And we've been creating a higher 44 sequence, even because we know how to write the Toltec Mason codes. We know how to write the matrix. It's our energy. They were using us to write their timelines. And we were connected into all of you. Because it's how it works. Especially when you're coming out. It's like we all got to get together and work as one so that we can individualize again. But for a minute, you have to realize that we all work together as one. I don't smoke cigarettes. But every energetic comment that's rude or just, but I appreciate. I definitely have coffee breath. But you really should take out the trash, and your kitty litter box is fucking full. Why is it even necessary to say that? Are you not hearing what I'm telling you? So this is the human race's problem. You want to judge how who shows up to tell you. It's never in the package, and so you look for something to say bad when someone's here to tell you the information that happened to be the one hidden to save your ass, and then that's all you have to say about everything that I've said, and me over here being and having balls that obviously you don't have, or else your channel, I'd know about it and you'd be telling the truth about what's going on, and that's just what you want to come on and say, is that you have bad breath? Well, your energy stinks. Like, I don't get. But we're turning it into money. So keep whatever. We transmute over here. You think it's my job to show up and save your ass? Not anymore. Should worry you. Thank you. Thank you, Cesar. I look horrible. I wasn't planning on showing my face. Okay, thank you. I wasn't planning on showing my face. I wasn't planning on being here this long either. I just knew everybody needs to hear what I'm saying. We need to have these thoughts. We just need to think about these solutions and realize that we're working together in a unit in order to make that manifest. And if you're showing up to see me here right now, like right now, I called you in, and your energy is here because you're powerful enough to do something to change it. And we're in empire building time. I mean, FYI, we won the battle. It's just never been won before. So your opportunities, no matter who you are down here, are limitless now. But you're doing it and you're changing it in ways that you're not used to doing because you didn't have your royal codes. You didn't have your blue blood. Well, now you do. Whenever you're running your blue blood, which is what they've been running for you, blue blood comes out through your body way different. It manifests way different. Way different. And y'all aren't trained to recognize that. We've been trained because we've been coming and building through it. But this is where we're at. The entire human race, with what's about to, our collective timeline is about to take over the reptilian grid system. All we got to do is make these little bitty changes right here, because there's too many people thinking that this XLM and well, it's just a fabrication of the old fucking system. Like, they want you to think that that's it. Well, there's not, we don't have enough critical thinkers right here that can figure out, that actually understand what's activated in your body and how this really works. Right? And this is collective. Like, this, it'll be stagnant until we get enough beings up there in order to make this decision. And we don't even have to meet each other. It's happening in the ethers. It's happening in the quantum. So if you're seeing this message, and especially thank you for coming on if you've never seen me before, this is how your frequency and spirituality is tied into the digital currents that you're playing in. This is the other side of the coin. It has to do with your body and your reality, and your physical body, and being able to hold, because you're the wallet. You don't have a bank. You're the wallet. If your wallet's too full and you're not doing spiritual healing, you're going to have a wreck. You're going to lose all your shit. Your wife might die. You might die. Like, I'm just looking at all the possibilities. And when I do that, that's what I'm doing. I'm scanning the code. Because it's the same thing. Everybody that's holding the wallets and holding all this coin, well, there's been a collective of us over here. We can tell you where it came from. We can tell you how it manifested. We can tell you what's backed it. We can tell you all that stuff. But right now, it's still acting like it's separate. But the governments are going to want to lock us down into a financial grid system. And it ain't happening. And the more that they try to lock us into that financial grid system, the more we go to the bank and just walk in, step 1 foot in, and blow the system up. And if they try to keep us from going to the bank, just so we don't walk by it, and I'm not saying bombs, we don't need any of that shit. We just walk by. And if they're gonna stop us from getting to the bank to even clean the codes, and then the whole banking system will just collapse. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Natalie. It looks like Natalie got called in. Oh my gosh, and she's working. So I'll let y'all go so she can get off. Yes, I ask that everybody that came on this video and those who are sending attacks, you're giving us the power. Each attack that was sent in is giving us the energetic to push the answers to our consciousness, because we already have the answers. We just need to see it. We need to connect with what the answers are. So Natalie even having to take time from her day and come over here and freaking weed you guys out because you're tripping out. But I don't know why you're tripping out. Do you want to go all in on an Enron and get your ass fucked at the end on a Diddy? You mad that process is stopping? The only reason that you'd be sending me hate mail right now. Well, we'll see about that, won't we? Yes. Thank you, Natalie. Ha. We are about to find out, aren't we? Nope. Was it nope? Yep, that was nope. Nope. Pone Pine.